Good morning, everyone. Today we're checking out a brand new video from the Goji Center, and it looks like the hybridization chamber is up and operational again. Because today, Goji Center has created a brand new hybrid, not one for the land, no, but one for the deep abyss of the ocean. That's right, today we're checking out the Marine Hybrid. Let's hop in and see just how monstrous this damn thing gets.
You're going to die today, bitch!
Today on Goji Center, we're diving into the lore of our own growing menagerie of horrific hybrids. With corporate warfare ramping up in the same space Gestalt Corp brought us the Av Imperator and Mortalodon, another company will throw their name into the arena to bring forth a marine nightmare.
Orion?
Goji Center presents the next chapter in a chronicle that might be coming to bookstores near you in the future, as we creep into the deep and witness what one group is about to unleash into the open ocean. After numerous landmark breakthroughs in ancient DNA sequencing and restoration, various companies jumped into the new frontier of invention. Biological and specifically zoological developments started to rival technological ones. One company, Orion Industries, attempted to spearhead development of a zoological weapons platform in the form of the ultimate attack animal.
Oh yeah?
Attempts to recruit the patron saint of genetic engineering, Dr. Francisco Barro, by forceful methods was negated by the efforts of Gestalt Corp. Barro was shielded and recruited by Gestalt Corp themselves, leading to him spearheading development of the Mortalodon and Av Imperator projects that gobbled up multiple military contracts. But Orion...
It's been a long time since we talked about them, but I remember them.
...will not secede from this hybrid war. The skies and land might have competition, but the greatest frontier on the planet is at sea. The mission to create the most adaptable and reliable living attack and reconnaissance weapon for the largest potential battlefield on the planet starts now.
Here we go.
The genome. Recall that hybrids must be created with purpose. The 2.0, for instance, was an attack animal meant to wipe out a dinosaur sanctuary and become a vector for disease, unleashing a global pandemic. Ultima Imperatrix, a highly marketable juggernaut created to entertain the masses in 1v1 combat. Mortalodon, an anti-personnel hybrid useful for ground reconnaissance for military or private operations.
Still love it.
Finally, the Av Imperator line of aerial hybrids, meant for the same thing but predominantly in the air. The purpose of today's hybrid will be the same as the last two, but excelling in the deep, with enough gadgets to dominate the seas and fend off any threats no matter...
Okay, judging on the shape of the mouth, looks like it is going to have some Leviathan, and because of those weird pointed things we saw in the throat, looks like it's also going to have a pinch of a penguin or sea turtle. I can't remember which of them has that. I believe it's penguins, but I'm not sure.
How large, as we'll soon find out. Starting with the base, the ocean provides a long list of excellent candidates to provide a solid base. But today, we'll take a look at a family that brought forth some of the most dominating marine life forms in the present day. There are over 40 species of dolphin roaming the oceans today.
That's a lot of
dolphins. In size from the tiny 3-foot Hector's dolphin to the colossal orca that could rival some mosasaurs in size. If raw power was desired, picking Free Willy of all things would be the best option among dolphins, given that the modern...
Wait, the orca whale is a part of the dolphin family? That doesn't make... sorry, I hear whale in the name, and I know it's a mammal, but... there's no way that thing is a freaking dolphin!
Orca are even larger than their prehistoric cousins. But let's remember, the objective of this hybrid isn't to build something that would be a devastating apex predator meant to fight other animals. Instead, this is meant to be a trainable beast, intended to perform a variety of tasks and eliminate human targets if the need arises. Making the hybrid excessively big would only make it easier to spot by both enemy sight and sonar, tipping them off to its presence and leaving it wide open to sonic attacks or dropped explosives that can be devastating beneath the surface.
That's
to hunt down the apex species of planet Earth as they roam the seas we need something different. Making this thing the size of a megalodon or even orca would make it too obvious, but making it too small would reduce its capabilities. A balance of the two just so happens to also include a species known for trainability and camaraderie even outside of its own kind.
What you got?
The false killer whale is an enigmatic
false.
beast that was first
Okay.
known from fossils before reports by mariners of pitch black orcas were confirmed to be the same species. As one of the next largest species of dolphin after the true orca and pilot whales, some of the largest
We could
males
use that.
weigh in at over 2,000 kilograms and
Oh,
about
that's a lot.
6 meters long. Big enough to throw their weight around, but small enough to escape notice. These pseudo-orca also have a whole list of other helpful traits for this hybrid to get the job done. Growing up to full size at about 8 to 10 years of age, but living well into their 50s or 60s, the hybrid
Ooh,
having a false
these
killer
things
whale
could be
for a
old.
genome will help it reach more workable size quicker, but also have a potentially very long lifespan to assist its human comrades and pass along valuable experience and knowledge to younger successors. False
That's
killer
pretty
whales
damn
are
good.
also very adept in a wide variety of habitats, thriving in shallow seas, but also being quite capable of diving into the depths. With some of the better developed oxygen storing adaptations in the bloodstream and organs, tolerance for high pressure, and a very well developed sonar even among dolphins, false killer whales have been known to dive almost a kilometer straight down and hunt in pitch blackness.
All of this is
Useful
definitely
for sneaking
useful.
up on certain locations by staying out of sight, as well as letting the hybrid feed itself off a huge potential list of prey in shallow or deep water alike. But it's the mentality and brain of the false killer whale that might prove one of the best assets. More
Go on,
docile
then.
toward human handlers than most types of dolphin, false killer whales are extremely trainable and intelligent. They also are one of the only wild animals that frequently team up with other species. False
that's
killer whales
nice.
have been reported
Whoa.
growing up and hunting together with around 10 other species of dolphins and whales. This
Damn,
will
that's
not only
cool.
predispose the
Okay.
hybrid into better cross-species training and camaraderie, but also assist in stealth missions out in the wild. Able to group up with wild false killer whales, the hybrid would still look a lot like one if you only saw the top of its body, meaning it could blend in with the
Level.
pod and easily be mistaken for just another dolphin by an observer until it's too late. Congruency is the name
Okay, I swear, that damn thing has fingers.
of the game when it comes to making stable hybrids, and more toothy cetaceans have their own contributions to make. Cuvier's beaked whale is a gentle giant, but one with a fantastic ability. Dining on deep water squid, this species has the record for the longest and deepest dive of any known air-breathing animal, when
Lung
one of them
capacity.
took a plunge
That's
almost
good.
3 kilometers straight down, and other recorded dives have lasted over 2 hours. How will today's new hybrid benefit? Some of the internal anatomy, such as adaptations in the blood and organs like the kidney and spleen for storing more oxygen, can prove extremely useful to the hybrid.
That is
Even
gonna
just
be
a
useful.
portion of the Cuvier's potential would allow the hybrid to dive far further than most predators and sensors can go, letting it evade threats in the ocean, as well as stealth into favorable positions much easier by hiding in the depths. Despite not having any teeth, this animal's contribution will be allocated in the internals of this hybrid to allow this creature to perform these feats.
Very good
In terms
thinking.
of teeth, however, we'll have to bring back a terror from the long past. Meet Zygophyseter, an animal both orca
Zygophyseter.
and great white would be terrified of if it swam our seas today.
Oh, I can
Resembling a
understand why.
bottlenose dolphin from hell.
I'm sorry, look at that head shape. That is a almost perfect right angle. I'm not laughing just at the creature, but at this head shape. Like, why would something evolve to have a literal brick for a head?
This was actually
I'm
one of
sorry.
the macropredatory sperm whales in the same family the giant Liviaton belonged to. Roughly the size of an orca, the main contribution from this beast would be the head. Oversized by cetacean standards, this species has a very unique chomp. Instead of teeth that just grasp, hold, and crush like most predatory whales, this genus could employ a unique shearing bite that could dismember smaller targets or gouge chunks out of bigger animals. And with teeth proportionally larger than most marine reptiles and the orca, this would be overkill for dispatching human divers, but necessary for defending itself when it inevitably has to punch above its weight class, like with
Yeah, that's
orcas
gonna
or
be
other
useful.
hybrids it might run into at sea. Sperm whales, or also referred to as cachalots, also have the doubled up protection of very dense blubber, but also extremely thick skin. Some of the thickest
that
and
is a
toughest
good
of any
double up.
animal, with some sections and large individuals having a hide over a foot thick.
Whoa,
Even when toned
that's
down for
thick.
the hybrid at this size, it
Literally.
would still make its hide far tougher than most dolphins or marine reptiles of similar size, and make it extremely resilient against both bullets and enemy predators. Even if Zygophysator lacked this feature, its relation to the modern sperm whale means a very small amount of the real-life Moby Dick's genome could be added in without messing with the congruency of the hybrid to help toughen up the hide. The cachalots
Love
also
it.
have one last killer app that both the modern species and or Zygophysator can add on. The melon is an organ that helps amplify and focus sonar clicks in communication used by
Oh,
most toothed
yeah,
whales,
okay.
meaning everything from dolphins to beluga.
Yes, it actually is called a melon. I don't know why the organ in this part of the head is called a melon. It just is.
To porpoises to sperm whales have this. Uniquely in sperm whales, though, a special wax found within the distinct spermaceti organ adjacent to the melon helps to further amplify and focus this sound.
Oh,
the hybrid
so that's
could
the
employ
melon.
this both to better communicate with each other and their human handlers at long range, and they could be trained to focus the sound into a sonic version of a flashbang. It was once thought
Ooh.
sperm whales used this to stun prey. This technique would be very effective on squid, but to potential enemy hybrids using sound-sensitive cetaceans in the mix, or the vulnerable human divers, on the other hand, this would be a case of the hybrid being trained and learning to use its tools completely uniquely to how the base species does. Sound travels faster and with more force underwater than in air, and
This
blowing
is
out or
awesome.
damaging the eardrums of enemies under the waves is a very real possibility. This whale is the last of the cetaceans in our hybrid. The next wave of contributors will bring in some very strange
Wait, is
but
that the
also very
Mosasaurus?
innovative abilities. Starting us off, the
No.
Mosasaur Tylosaurus
Tylosaur,
enters the genome
okay.
to influence parts of the jaw and hind limbs, supplying the hybrid with additional cutting surfaces on the teeth, the capability of regenerating lost or worn teeth in a way more agreeable than the shark method, reinforcing the tip of the snout in
useful.
congruency with the beaked whale and false killer whale to help with a ramming attack, and enlarging the hind limbs into a second set of flippers. Tylosaurus also brings its forked tongue and
You got it.
Jacobson's organ embedded in the roof of the mouth, allowing the hybrid to chemically test the water for tracking and detection purposes. And to make the hybrid more cost-effective to make more of it, some monitor lizards and relatives can employ meiosis parthenogenesis, unlike the apomictic parthenogenesis seen in some other hybrids that produce exact copies of the mother. This method produces
Oh.
offspring genetically distinct from the mother and can be tweaked to produce sons as well. And this dynamic can merge
Right.
back with the whale
That's what
template
it
to
can
make
do.
a ready-to-use social unit. Male-toothed whales like false killers and orca work as lieutenants to their matriarch mothers, meaning a matriarch hybrid can become a natural leader to her sons and make training easier. If Tylosaurus lacked this trait, the very closely related monitor lizard genes like those of the Komodo dragon can be spliced in replacement, with very little impact on the hybrid and with congruency, minimizing the chance of side effects.
Good thinking
You
all
think we were
around.
done with the teeth? No. To further bolster the ability of this hybrid biting into the soft surfaced hides of most marine animals and humans, both diver and crew, Orion acquired samples of conodont DNA. These
What
would be
the
used to a very minor
fuck
degree
is
to upgrade
this?
the teeth and hone very sharp edges, as these bygone fish had some of the sharpest teeth to ever exist. A lot of offense happening here. Some very decent defense as well with the cachalot hide. However, there is something else that this creature will use for evasive and defensive purposes.
What, the tail?
What you're looking at is a thick cloud of slime that rapidly expands roughly 10,000 times its original volume.
Did you just give it an ink attack? Like a squid? Oh, yeah, no, you did kind of show some cephalopods.
In contact with seawater, clogging up the gills or mouth of any attacker, forcing it to retreat. Courtesy of the Pacific hagfish, the glands and
Oh,
pores
it's the
that excrete
hagfish.
this slimy
Okay.
defense are located on the sides of the body. These could also serve as wound defense in the event a very sharp-toothed creature comes along and manages to scrape, even if it gets past the slime. Called epidermal thread cells, these cells could line the skin near the glands. If damaged, they would release threads that mix with the mucus to form a highly fibrous, sticky slime on the wound site. Mixing
Not
in
bad.
with the hagfish
That could be
contribution,
useful.
the parts of the bobtail squid's ink sac adaptations would be extremely selectively edited in. This squid uniquely has an integrated symbiosis with bacteria it can tolerate and help cultivate that can be added onto the skin or acquired out at sea. These bacteria, which normally live near the ink sac of the squid, would instead take refuge in the slime vents from the hagfish contribution. When the slime is vented out, the
kind of like
bacteria
this.
react and create a flash
A
of
lot.
glowing light. Targets bound up by the slime would be easily tagged by being literally lit up like a Christmas tree and dazed from the sudden flash. These same chemicals in the ink can also affect the
Consume.
sensory organs of certain animals like fish or sharks, adding defense against potential hybrid combatants. Protecting the seemingly smooth areas is a contribution from one of the swiftest predators the ocean has ever seen. The shortfin mako, a speedier relative
hey.
of the great white shark, can supply dermal denticles along the back, stomach, and other portions of the hybrid not occupied by the slime vents. Since these are on top of and
Yeah, make sure
embedded
they'll
in the
spread.
skin, they don't conflict with the sperm whale contribution. Denticles like these further help reduce noise while swimming and make the creature more streamlined. The shark skin also supplies a more limited version of the various sensory pits found on the faces of sharks for detecting water pressure changes and electrical reception. Now, as our hybrid
Okay.
takes form, we'll now have to focus on probably the most unique anatomical changes to this cetacean form, using 3 more genetic contributors. In
3
order to be the
more.
best possible tactical aid in marine space, Orion needed to equip this animal with excellent vision. These large eyes, courtesy of Temnodontosaurus, one of the mightiest of the ichthyosaurs, would come in with the
Temnodontosaurus.
largest pair of eyes of
Okay.
any known animal, and greatly bolster the vision at night and deep-sea operations, when the use of sonar clicks would reveal its position. Additionally, the large hind flippers would work together with the Tylosaurus contribution to make sure the hybrid has the necessary steering devices not found in whales, able to navigate just as good, if not better than, any military underwater remote craft deployed against it. To detect these and other targets, enter the second to last contributor, the leatherback turtle.
Oh,
These
damn, the
underrated
biggest
sea
sea turtle
reptiles
in
provide
existence.
internal adaptations, a highly refined magnetic field detection in the nervous system that picks up any machinery operating underwater. The hybrid would now be able to find, inspect, and whoever is unlucky enough to get sent down the chute would now deal with the batteries of throat spines that would ensure nothing is able to fight its way
Oh,
out.
those damn
These
throat
two
spines.
aren't the most uncanny attributors to Orion's new hybrid. This is... That's right,
I knew
folks,
it!
and this is where the meta
I knew
gets
it!
turned upside down. You
It has hands! This damn thing can throw hands!
may be wondering how on earth did this cetacean turn into a mermaid of death? And before we reveal the last contributor, note that the entire genome so far is made of marine animals for congruency and instincts, and because it's also on brand. Now, finding hands on this hybrid may initially make you think that a terrestrial creature was involved. But no, take a look. No, seriously.
Otters.
Sea otters aren't the only large weasels to make it into the water, but they are readily available and rank among the most adept tool users in the animal kingdom outside primates. And they also come with a tendency to use the back, the strongest part of the jaw, to crack open tough objects like shells, or in our case, cracking skulls.
Oh,
The main reason these show up is because of their
Bloody.
forelimbs. In most marine tetrapods, like the various mammals and reptiles that have gone back to the ocean, the entire hand was modified over time into a flattened flipper. This is because advanced dexterity wasn't all that useful down here. But
Yeah, I don't really need
Orion
it.
wants its hybrid agents to be capable in some unexpected ways. In this case, the ichthyosaur contribution from earlier was blended in with the aspects of the sea otter. Effectively, all tetrapods, be they amphibian, mammal, or reptile, have a maximum of 5 digits. Short
Yep,
of fluke
that's
mutations,
true.
it has been this way since the first creature from the ocean crawled onto land. But
Don't know why,
selective
it's
adaptation
5.
and modification to the Hox genes can be done to certain digits in specific. The earliest carnivorous dinosaurs initially had 5 fingers, but gradually lost all but 3 of them in the lineage that led up to birds.
Oh,
Even
really now?
horses infamously modified and lost all but one of their toes into the hooves we see today, resulting in them unintentionally flipping us off on the daily, given which toe is the one left. Yeah, it's the middle one.
Okay, that's
So,
awesome.
Ichthyosaurs,
I'll tell my
like
sister about that
Temnodontosaurus,
later.
had some of the strangest flippers that ever existed, with the individual finger bones dividing and multiplying into a very strong flipper. They can hold its shape very well while also being quite flexible when it needed to be. In the hybrid, selective
useful.
editing allowed for digits 4 and 5, the ring and pinky finger on your own hand, to be extended in length while having their bones divided into a flipper. This freed up digits 1 through 3, which are the thumb, index, and middle finger on your own hand. You're looking at right now, hearing us say this. The
Yeah,
end
of course, who
result
wouldn't?
is this: a hand and a flipper on the same surface. The
You could call
influence
it-
from the otter also extends into making the shoulder joint and
you wanna make a
upper
joke?
arm more flexible and larger,
brain
offering
said
up an
nothing.
extended range of motion to help carry and manipulate objects, or grab onto something, or someone to pull them under. This sacrifices some speed and maneuvering, but the
Ooh.
extra hind flippers on the feet help make up for the difference. It's not about being the absolute fastest, or best in all categories, but excelling in the ones Orion wants. Now resembling a mermaid
incredible.
of death, and answering the question, what if you gave an orca hands? Here is the end result. Sirena Venatrix, the Siren Huntress, measuring at 6.5 to 7 meters in length, weighing 3 metric tons. A fine-tuned blend of ocean predators past and present, able to work closely with human
Wonderful.
handlers for years at a time. The Huntress earns its name with specially trained and conditioned matriarchs leading pods of their sons that function like strike teams. Different members can be trained for different tasks, ranging from sabotage, ferrying or protecting swimmers or divers, fending off marine attackers, planting devices, tracking ships and submarines, or doing that dispatching themselves, whether it's divers in the
Oh, there it
water,
is.
rival predators, or rogue hybrids with nature or granted weapons, or pulling a shipboard target below the waves with a successful climb or lunge. An elite pod of the Sirens could approach a location under the cover of joining a group of dolphin or false killer whale, obscuring their moments even if spotted at the surface. Then, after diving hundreds, perhaps over 1,000 meters down to avoid any further detection, the group can swiftly move into position. The targets, rival nation fleets, pirating vessels, or more wouldn't know what hit them by the time the explosives were put in place. Fully autonomous in the field if necessary, they can hunt and forage for themselves in both shallow water and depths with competence.
You guys have
And
once
what
again
threats
made
a
it.
single one can't fight off, comrades can quickly come to its aid, or they can rapidly descend or ascend the water column to get out of range of their attacker. Chemical defenses
great.
also can keep the operatives alive in the field longer should they have to engage the enemy. Tough hides help negate bullets fired into the water. Denticles make grasping the hybrid painful and tricky in equal parts. And trying to grapple or bite the siren can result in a glowing smokescreen of slime that can irritate eyes, gum up
A
gills, or
slime
clog
screen.
jaws. And with their own jaws strong enough to shatter bone, teeth that can rend right through armor and blubber alike, hands capable of wielding tools, and the intelligence to figure out creative ways to use any of those assets, natural or otherwise, the legendary Sirens of the Ocean are ready to claim their first victims.
Love it. Alright, but that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and we'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Until then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.